The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. We have now successfully completed phase 1 and phase 2 of our Embracing the Future restoration of this building. No one could have ever imagined, if you look through that window behind you, that the stained glass of St. John's Church would sparkle and glitter like that. Because we had never seen what the creator of that stained glass window had in mind. Because it had been covered with 120 years of coal dust and some subpar, although at the time, technically advanced coverings that muted that light. And what I have in my hand right now are plans for phase 3, which is the rewiring of this entire worship space. Over the Christmas holiday, light engineers came into this building at night to measure how much light these fixtures give off. They measured it in candle feet. And for a person to be able to see fairly well, you need about 15 to 20 candle feet. The lights in this church at night measured between 4 and 8 candle feet. So if you've ever been here on a cloudy day or a dark day and you thought, I need to go to the obstetrician, one of those days. So you just turn that off because that's not going to work. If you've ever gone to the ophthalmologist or the optometrist and said, I need to get my eyes checked, it wasn't your eyes. It was the light. You see, there are things that can dim light. In the case of this electricity, it's old incandescent fixtures and wiring that varies between 20th century wiring and knob and tube from the turn of the 20th century. And you put all those things together and the lights are dim. But they're going to pull every bit of wiring that they can pull out of this place, completely rewire. One of these chandeliers is going to be taken down and shipped off to Wisconsin, where they're going to completely gut it and retrofit a brand new LED package that gives off light like an incandescent light, but much brighter. And they'll add other fixtures in hidden places that will give light where the candelabra don't hang down, and we will find ourselves with much better light sometime after Easter. In our gospel, Jesus says to disciples, come follow me. And in our first reading, which incidentally is the reading that I preached on the first Sunday I was here 10 years ago, the Apostle Paul talked about divisions. The divisions among you. And all this work on the building and all this light imagery got me thinking about what Paul was talking about. And what Jesus actually asked those disciples to do. They left their life to follow him. 2 of them left their father in the boat and followed him. And what Jesus asked them to do was not just leave physical proximity, but he asked them to leave all their ideas about the way they thought life should work, the way they thought God worked, the way they thought salvation worked. He's asking them, look at me, listen to me, follow me, and leave all that behind. But by the time we get to the early church in Paul's letter, we can see that that's hard to do. We like, as human beings, to set ourselves up in camps. And whether those be religious camps or secular camps, we use it to define who we are and who others aren't. And Paul says those divisions are dimming the light of the gospel. So whether that division comes from a conservative Roman Catholic group who suddenly raises up and protests and says that having a woman be consecrated as a bishop in our church would desecrate our holy space, or whether it be a political camp, Democrat or Republican, or whether it be a camp about a political candidate or a person in office, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, or any of the others. Or whether it be about, I'm a constitutionalist or I'm not, or whether I'm a capitalist or whether I'm more socially minded. I see online people who call themselves followers of Jesus, and the camps are divided firmly. Jesus said, follow me. Jesus asked us to do something really, really hard. He asked us to give up all the things that we've been taught, all the things that our background and our parents may have shared with us. He asks us to put all of that aside and be willing to look at life with new eyes and a new perspective. The greatest commandments, he said, are love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And if anything that we've ever been taught or anything that we ever believe comes in the way of those two commandments, then they need to be left in the boat with the Father, Zebedee, as we walk this new path with Jesus. That's actually why we have this baptismal water at the entrance of both entrances to our church. So that when you come and go, you can remind yourself who you belong to. I belong to you, Jesus. I ask you to give me the strength. Wash away those attitudes and those beliefs which aren't of you, and help me to follow who you are. For those things we carry with us are the coal dust and the dingy protectors that keep the light from shining through the windows. Those things that we carry with us are those old circuits and old light bulbs that keep the light from shining. For the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. And Jesus is asking us to allow God's light to flow through us, to be reflected in us, to shine throughout the world. Not in divided camps, but in one blaze of brilliant glory. Will you come and follow me if I but call your name, we sang.